Once upon a time, in a village called Enugu, there lived a woman named Chika. Chika was not just any woman. She was a force to be reckoned with at the age of 37. She had built an empire of her own, a thriving business that echoed her determination and hard work. Yet amidst all her success, there was an ache in her heart, a longing for companionship, for love, for a husband to share her joys and sorrows every day. As Chika walked through the bustling streets of Enugu, she couldn't help but notice the eyes that followed her, the whispers that trailed behind her. She was the talk of the town, the successful businesswoman who had it all, except for one thing, a husband. Society whispered in her ears, reminding her of her age, of her single status of the ticking clock that seemed to grow louder with each passing day, but remained undeterred, her spirit unbroken. She believed in love and the magic of finding her soulmate, even amidst the pressures of society. And so, she waited her heart open to the possibility of love even as the years rolled by. Then one fateful day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Chika's path crossed with that of a man named Ikena, tall and charming with a smile that could melt even the coldest of hearts, had swept into Chika's life like a whirlwind stirring emotions. She had long buried deep within it, showed a keen interest in Chika, showering her with compliments and attention. And despite the whispers of caution that echoed in her mind, Chika found herself drawn to him, her heart yearning for the love she had so longed for. She brushed aside the nagging doubts, the little voice of reason that whispered warnings in her ear. She chose instead to bask in the warmth of Ikena's affection. Their courtship was a whirlwind of romance and excitement, each moment folded with the promise of a future together. And so, when Ikena finally dropped to one knee and asked for her hand in marriage, Chika's heart soared with happiness. She said yes, swept away by the tide of love that engulfed her. The day of their wedding was a celebration like no other, the village alive with music and laughter, as Chika and Ikena exchanged vows. Amidst a sea of smiling faces, Chika felt like the luckiest woman in the world. Her dreams finally coming true as she embarked on a new chapter of her life with the men she loved. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, cracks began to appear in the facade of happiness that Chika had worked so hard to build. Its unemployment once brushed aside in the haze of love now loomed large over their marriage, casting a shadow of uncertainty over their future. Chika's heart clenched with fear as she watched it struggle to find work, his promises of a bright future fading with each passing day. And then, as if to add soul to the wound, whispers of Ikena's deception reached Chika's ears, a betrayal that cut deep, shattering the illusion of happiness that she had so desperately clung to. Desperation clawed at Chika's heart as she realized the truth. She had been duped, deceived by the men she had trusted Ikena with her heart. Yet amidst the pain and betrayal, Chika found a flicker of hope, resolved to pick up the pieces of her shattered dreams and start anew. For Chika knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always a glimmer of light, a chance for redemption. And so, with tears in her eyes and fire in her heart, she vowed to never let her spirit be broken, to rise from the ashes of her despair and reclaim the happiness that was rightfully hers in the heart of Udem village, where the winds whispered secrets and the trees swayed in rhythm to the beat of life. Chika's once vibrant spirit began to whine under the weight of her marriage's challenges. As the days passed, Ikena's laziness became more apparent, a dark cloud hovering over their once blissful union. His reluctance to work, at Chika's heart creating rifts in their relationship that seemed impossible to mend despite her pleas and tears, had remained steadfast in his refusal to contribute. leaving Chica to bear the burden of their financial struggles alone. And then, just as Chica thought things couldn't get any worse, she discovered she was pregnant. The news should have been a cause for celebration, a symbol of their love and commitment. But instead, it only served to amplify Chica's struggles, adding another layer of worry and uncertainty to an already strained marriage. As her pregnancy progressed, Chica found herself navigating a sea of emotions, her swollen belly a constant reminder of the fragile life growing inside her. But even in the midst of her joy, there was fear for the future, fear for her unborn child, and fear for herself. But perhaps the most devastating blow came in the form of Akena's abuse. What had once been harsh words and empty threats soon escalated into physical violence, leaving Chica bruised and broken, both physically and emotionally. Even in her delicate state, Akena showed no mercy, his fist raining down on her with a force that seemed to shatter her very soul. Desperation clawed at Chica's heart as she struggled to make sense of the nightmare her life had become. She clung to the hope that things would get better, that Akena would change, that their love would conquer all. But with each passing day, that hope grew dimmer, overshadowed by the harsh reality of her situation. And then, just when Chica thought she had reached her breaking point, had disappeared, taking with him the last shreds of her dignity, and her savings. Chica was left alone, penniless and pregnant, with nowhere to turn and no one to help her bear the weight of her despair in a desperate bid to survive. Chica turned to the only option she had left: borrowing money from the women's organization she had once been a part of. But when the time came to repay the debt, Chica found herself unable to do so, her pockets empty, and her heart heavy with shame. And so it was, with a heavy heart and tear-stained cheeks, Chica faced arrest and imprisonment, her dreams shattered and her spirit broken. But even in the darkness of her cell, a flicker of hope remained, a glimmer of light that whispered of redemption and new beginnings yet to come. In the aftermath of her imprisonment, Chica found herself trapped in a web of despair and anguish, her heart heavy with the weight of her mistakes. The walls of her cell seemed to close in around her, suffocating her with the bitter taste of regret. But even in her darkest hour, a glimmer of hope flickered in the depths of Chica's soul, a whisper of redemption that refused to be silenced. And so, with newfound resolve, she vowed to rise from the ashes of her despair and reclaim the life that had been stolen from her. As the days turned into weeks, Chica's spirit began to stir, fueled by a determination that burned brighter than any flame. She poured herself into her work, channeling her pain and sorrow into the creation of a new future, a future where she would no longer be defined by the mistakes of her past. With each passing day, Chica's strength grew, a beacon of resilience in the face of adversity. She refused to be beaten down by the trials that had befallen her, rising from the ashes like a phoenix reborn. But it was not just Ola's own resilience that fueled her newfound determination. It was also the love and support of those around her, her children, her parents, her friends. They stood by her side, unwavering in their belief that she was capable of overcoming any obstacle that stood in her way. And then, just when Chica thought she had reached the end of her journey, a ray of light pierced through the darkness, illuminating a path to redemption that she had never dared to dream of. It came in the form of a kind-hearted pastor, a man of God whose compassion knew no bounds. He had heard of Chica's plight and felt compelled to offer her a lifeline, with a chance to wipe the slate clean and start AR fresh, with tears streaming down her cheeks. Chica accepted the pastor's offer, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the second chance she had been given. And as she walked out of those prison gates, her head held high and her spirits soaring, She knew that she was finally free, free from the chains of her past, free to embrace the future that awaited her. But Chica's journey was far from over. With the pastor's help, she set about rebuilding her life, brick by brick, laying the foundation for a future filled with promise and possibility. Her business flourished once more, her once shattered dreams now soaring to new heights, and as she looked into the eyes of her children, she knew that she had finally found the happiness and fulfillment she had been searching for all along for Chica. The road to redemption had been long and arduous, filled with obstacles and challenges that threatened to break her spirit. But through it all, she had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. A testament to the power of hope, perseverance, and the unwavering belief that no matter how far we fall, we always have the power to rise again in the shadow of the prison walls, where time seemed to stand still and despair hung heavy in the air. Chica's spirit remained unbroken, her heart a beacon of hope. Amidst the darkness that threatened to consume her as she sat alone in her cell, the weight of her mistakes pressing down on her like a leaden blanket, Chica couldn't help but wonder how she had ended up here, imprisoned, disgraced, and utterly alone. It felt like a nightmare from which she couldn't wake, a cruel twist of fate that had robbed her of everything she held dear. But amidst the despair, a flicker of defiance burned bright in Chica's eyes, a determination to fight against the tide of despair that threatened to drown her. She refused to be defined by her mistakes, to let them dictate the course of her life. Instead, she vowed to rise from the ashes of her despair and reclaim the future that had been stolen from her. As the days stretched into weeks, Chica's resolve only grew stronger, fueled by the memory of her children's faces, their laughter echoing in her ears like a melody of hope. She longed to hold them in her arms, to reassure them that despite the darkness that surrounded her, she would never stop fighting for them. But even as Chica clung to the promise of redemption, the harsh reality of her situation threatened to crush her spirit. The prison walls closed in around her, suffocating her with the weight of her regrets. And with each passing day, the burden of her guilt grew heavier, threatening to consume her from within. Yet even in the depths of her despair, Chica found solace in the kindness of strangers, the compassionate souls who refused to turn a blind eye to her suffering. They offered her words of encouragement, gestures of kindness that warmed her heart and gave her the strength to carry on. And then, just when Chica thought she had reached the end of her rope, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon, a chance for redemption that she had never dared to dream of. It came in the form of a kind-hearted pastor, a man of God, whose compassion knew no bounds. He had heard of Chica's plight and felt compelled to offer her a lifeline. With a chance to wipe the slate clean and start afresh, with tears streaming down her cheeks, Chica accepted the pastor's offer, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the second chance she had been given. And as she walked out of those prison gates, her head held high and her spirit soaring, she knew that she was finally free, free from the chains of her past, free to embrace the future that awaited her. But Chica's journey was far from over with. The past's help, she set about rebuilding her life. Brick by brick, laying the foundation for a future filled with promise and possibility. Her business flourished once more, her once shattered dreams now soaring to new heights. And as she looked into the eyes of her children, she knew that she had finally found the happiness and fulfillment she had been searching for all along for Chica. The road to redemption had been long and arduous, filled with obstacles and challenges that threatened to break her spirit. But through it all, she had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before, a testament to the power of hope, perseverance, and the unwavering belief that no matter how far we fall, We always have the power to rise again. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and educating Africa tales.